Master with part 18 of Fossil Fighters. Let's get to it. Last episode, we found out Rosie was kidnapped, and then we beat Rex and Schnivels. So then we run into Vivian, and then she attacks, so we're going to have to battle her. And Vivian is using a Hipsy, a Dilofo, which has an FP plus ability, so your FP recharges more every turn, and a Styraco. So Vivian attacks first, and uses Dilofo Fang, which does 18 damage. Leaping Snap, which does 7 damage. And Leaping Gore, which does 66 damage. Then Corona Bite does 58 damage. Styraco uses Leaping Gore, which does 100 damage. Hipsy uses Leaping Snap, which does 8 damage. And Dilofo uses Dilofo Fang, which does 12 damage. Then Corona uses Corona Bite, which does 39 damage. Then Styraco uses Leaping Gore, which does 68 damage. Then Hipsy uses Leaping Snap, which does 8 damage. And Dilofo uses Dilofo Fang, which does 18 damage. So Corona uses Corona Bite, which does 40 damage. And then Elasmo uses Elasmo Tackle, which should hopefully finish off Styraco. And it does. So Styraco is defeated. So Hipsy uses Leaping Snap, which does 16 damage. And Dilofo uses Dilofo Fang, which does 12 damage. Then Corona uses Corona Bite, which does 51 damage. And then Hipsy uses Leaping Snap, which does 16 damage. And Dilofo uses Dilofo Fang, which does 12 damage. So I'm going to use Elasmo Tackle, which should finish off Hipsy. And it does a critical 63 damage. Then Corona uses Corona Bite, which does 64 damage. So Dilofo uses Dilofo Fang, which does 23 damage. And Corona uses Corona Bite, which does 66 damage. So we got 7 battle points from that. And Shoney's LP increased by 11, along with Corona. Elasmo's LP increased by 9, Spinax's increased by 8, and Ventnor's increased by 9. So now Vivian falls over and then runs away. So now we're going to go up and face the BB boss. But when we get there, instead of finding the BB boss, we find Bulwart. Then Rosie's right there next to Bulwart. So Bulwart actually turns out to be the BB boss. So now we're just going to have to battle Bulwart and we'll have to beat him. So he'll be using a Shuno, a Salto, and an Amargo. So Salto swaps out for Amargo right away and uses Salto combo, which does 39 damage to Corona. And then Corona Bite does 58 damage to Salto. And then Salto uses Salto combo, which does 40 damage to Corona. Then Corona uses Corona Bite, which does 63 damage. So Salto uses Salto combo, which does 36 damage and swaps out Salto for Amargo. And Amargo uses Amargo Stomp, which does a critical 35 damage. So Corona uses Corona Bite, which does 89 damage. And then Elasmo uses Elasmo Tackle, which does 75 damage. And Amargo uses Amargo combo, which does 36 damage. Then Elasmo uses Elasmo Tackle, which defeats Amargo. So Salto comes out of the easy and swaps out for Shuno. And Salto uses Shockwave, which does a critical 102 damage to Corona. So Corona uses Snapping Jaws against Shuno, which does 87 damage. And Shuno uses Epicenter, which does 76 damage to Corona and defeats Corona. So Elasmo uses Elasmo Fury, which enrages Shuno and does 160 damage. And then Shuno uses Epicenter, which misses. So I'll use Shoni Snapping Jaws just so you guys can see what that looks like. And it does 104 damage. So we beat Bulwart and got 9 battle points. And Corona ranked up to a rank 9. And LP increased by 14, attack increased by 9, and defense increased by 2. And Elasmo also ranked up to a rank 10. And his LP increased by 12, attack increased by 8, defense increased by 3, and accuracy and evasion increased by 1. And Shoni's LP increased by 14, Spinax's LP increased by 11, and Ventnor's LP increased by 10. So we beat Bulwart, and 2 officers come to arrest Bulwart. So then another police officer comes to tell Rosie to go back to her grandfather's place, or the Richmond building. So then there's a mystery man that says, "We're just going to let them go. Why not just steal the devices from them now? They couldn't stop us." I'm sorry you can't see it, but the text, but I'm reading it out to you. But that might be better. It's still blurry, but you can at least read it now. But then a mystery girl says, "I think we need not worry. They still have not found the last one. We can simply wait until they are all collected together, then take them." Then the mystery man says, "But what about the BB bandits? We can't count on them anymore. Who exactly will we have looking for the last device?" Then the mystery woman says, "I believe I already have a solution to that problem already." So after that, we're going to go up these stairs, which teleport us to Bulwart's office. And under his desk, you can see the BB Bandit logo, which has been all there since the beginning of the game when we first visited his office, when our only dig site available was Greenhorn Plains. So we head up to Richmond's office. And there is Mr. Richmond saying that someone hired the BB bandits for $10 million to look for these $10 billion, I should say, to look for those idols. So now it's time for level up battles. So with that, we will conclude today's episode of Fossil Fighters Part 18. Join us next time for Fossil Fighters Part 19, where we do yet again another level up battle.